What's the story with behind Wack 100, aka Cash Jones, Shaq, Stutterbox, and yourself?
Well, I only know, all of those guys through the investigation. I know of all of them because of this ongoing investigation. It took, 3.5 years. So Stutterbox was the beginning of it, right? He came forward because he had been, prior to me meeting with Stutterbox, me and Darren Dupree, he was involved in these extortion attempts towards Shaq, because he had been hooking up allegedly with Shaq's old lady. And then he was trying to extort money out of Shaq, saying that he was going to release, photographs or, compromising, things about Shaquille. And Shaq had a friend that I think his name was Mark Turner or something like that. Don't hold me to that name, but I think his name was Mark Turner, a guy from Atlanta. And that guy, Mark, knew the shot caller, the head guy for the gang that Stutterbox was associating with, which was the Main Street Crips. And his name was Del Dog. And so, Shaq's like, man, this clown's trying to extort money from me, blah, blah, blah. He tells Mark. Well, Mark reaches out to Del Dog and says, man, you gotta swear your guy away. Can you deal with Stutterbox? Tell him to knock this shit off. So Del Dog and the Main Street Crips go and they discipline and threaten Stutterbox. Stutterbox is scared for his life, so he goes running to law enforcement. So law enforcement gets involved in him. Then during that process, he mentions that, he knows something about Biggie's murder. He tells us there's this guy named Cash Jones, who's a big dope dealer for Suge Knight. He's a truck driver. So we're like, oh shit, okay, well, that's interesting. If we can get some leverage like that on Suge.
So, are y'all hearing this? I feel like I gotta go get my sound effects because I feel like I'm so excited tonight, man. I feel like I gotta go get my sound effects. I cleaned up my desktop. I told you I did some stuff on my computer, man. So my sound effects is not where they normally would be. I cleaned them up. So I gotta go get them, man. Cause this is too much, man. This is too cool for school, man. This is just okay. Here go the sounds. Let me move this over here. I'm gonna move this over here. Okay, I'm gonna move this over here. What I got in here? What do I got in here, man? I need some sounds, man. I need some sounds, man. Here we go. All right, that felt good. I felt good. One more time. Is it ready for me? It take a minute to reload, man. Take a minute to reload, man. Reload! 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 We need more ammo! We need more ammo! Reload! It take a minute to reload, man. Yeah, man. I had to. That felt better, man. That felt better, man. So I had to get that off because I love what I'm doing. So Cash Jones is Wack 100. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. So Cash Jones is Wack 100. We don't know him as Cash Jones, but that's how they know him on the paperwork. That's how the police and the feds know him. And the individual who was sleeping with Shaunie got beat up and told the police about somebody named Cash Jones, who we know as Wack 100. That's what the story is now. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
They discipline and threaten Stutterbox. Stutterbox is scared for his life, so he goes running to law enforcement. So law enforcement gets involved in him. Then during that process, he mentions that, he knows something about Biggie's murder. He tells us there's this guy named Cash Jones, who's a big dope dealer for Suge Knight. He's a truck driver. for Suge.
I want to trying to get it right there. Yeah, there you go. How we seen this before? How you seen this before? This Perfect Timing Podcast with the Blast. Y'all know who it is, man. Who else is it in the building? Who giving y'all this type of shit, man? It's Perfect Timing Podcast. Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, right here on the Perfect Timing Podcast with the Blast, man. Ain't nobody doing this shit, man. Yeah, man. Ain't nobody doing this shit, man. Ain't nobody doing this shit like we doing it, man. Perfect Timing Podcast with the Blast, man. Cash Jones right here in the car with Suge Knight. We know him as Wack 100. I never knew his name was Cash Jones. If you're watching right now, you blessed. If you're watching and you're a content creator, you're gonna have some hell of a content to present. Man, I told you this story, Ken. I told you I know Ken be falling asleep. Ken, hey, it's late for me. It gotta be late for Ken. You know what I'm saying? So Ken be falling asleep. He be on this shit though, man. He been there early, man, supporting me. Thank you, brother, man. I love you, man. But you know, I had to take my time with this, man, and load this one up for you, man, so that you could have a hell of a show. This one you could listen to over and over again and break this shit down. Like, what the fuck is Perfect done again? Perfect did it again. So Cash Jones is known as Wack 100, but when he was affiliated with Suge Knight, he was known as Cash Jones. And he was turned in to the police by the individual who was sleeping with Shaunie O'Neal. So that means Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, has a motive for turning in Shaunie O'Neal and telling everyone about her transgressions. Cash Jones, aka Shaunie O'Neal, Cash Jones, aka my bad. Cash Jones, aka Wack 100, is motivated to present what he presented on Adam 22 today because the individual who she slept with in the past turned him into the feds. Come on now, ladies and gentlemen. Perfect Timing Podcast putting this shit together, man. Let's go.
Dope dealer for Suge Knight. He's a truck driver. So we're like, oh shit, okay, well, that's interesting. If we can get some leverage like that on Suge, like a Keefy D thing, right? And so we go and start investigating Cash Jones, and we spend months, and it becomes very, very clear he's not doing anything other than working his ass off, pushing his truck, trying to get some magazine off the ground, and he's just hustling. He's certainly not dealing any dope. And so we realize that Starbucks is just feeding us this bullshit. In fact, Starbucks goes so far as to tell us, hey man, this dude's house is loaded with weapons. It's like Beirut in there, he's got all kinds of illegal weapons. So we do a search warrant at the house. Of course, don't come up with shit.
Wow.
And so eventually we, contact Cash Jones and Wack, and it's like, hey man, here's the story. This is why we're here. Kind of fucked up. Sorry. We're being led on by this individual who claims you were doing all these things. And so, we're washing our hands of it all. And that's it. That's how Stutterbox, was dealing with some extortion bullshit with Shaq. He turns us on to Cash Jones, which turns into an absolute wild goose chase, waste of time. And it's the story.
How does
Wow. So Wack 100, aka Cash Jones, would definitely have motivation against Shaunie O'Neal, because not only does he get investigated because of Shaunie O'Neal and her bullshit, his house gets raided. He gets brought in for questioning by the feds. We have never heard any of this. We never heard none of this. Wack 100, aka Cash Jones, got brought in by the feds, questioned, and his house raided, all behind Shaunie O'Neal bullshit. He is saying right now, Cash Jones wasn't selling no dope. He was just driving his truck hustling. That's what he's saying. I got another video. He's saying Cash Jones wasn't selling no dope, but he just showed a picture of the makers.
Yeah, I wanted to research it a little more. Didn't research it like I wanted to. Y'all know what that means. Talking to the actual police officer, and that was involved in the case. But I have talking to
Fair use, fair use.
police officers before. Because like I said, y'all don't know that this was guy that was on Greg Katie's original task force that handled this. But anyway, so what happened was Shaq somehow got up under, for those of y'all don't believe it, say, oh, Shaquille O'Neal don't need to hang out with no Main Street Mafia Crip guys or gang members. That's crazy. Never heard of that before. Well, just go listen to on Shaq, one of his latest podcasts, where they talked about Dale Dog and gave him a shout out and all of that on that particular podcast. And so Shaq was in deep.
Back to Dale Dog, right? Now remember, when the police officer told you the narrative, they had a degree of separation between Shaq and Dale Dog, as if Shaq had never met or known or seen Dale Dog. Y'all got to pay attention. You know, I'm a journalist, so that's why I'm stopping and letting you know where you at. The police officer in his investigation, he put a degree of separation between Shaq and Dale Dog, as if Shaq didn't know Dale Dog or these individuals. Now, Reggie Wright is contradicting that.
With mainstream mafia. As y'all saw from the interview that we posted up about Wack 100 and my boy Stutterbox, all doing that interview with the smoke detector going off. He was hollering, Main Street Mafia. He threw up the sign and everything. And so this is what happened, y'all. They were eating. Shaq was looking out for them, hooking them up and taking good care of them, which, whatever reason, it didn't happen. Cash Money did it with the Bunny Hunters, and that's why Lil Wayne still sometimes out here with my boy Term and all them claim looters on the mob, I think mob area. You know, so gangs get up under guys, or artists get up under guys from gangs in LA, and they start repping corrupt Philly boy, claiming 60 Crips. You know, that's a little bit of a stretch because, you know, I know he was young, 17, when that happened. So I'll give him a little credit for hanging with the 60s a little longer. But a lot of these rappers made it, like Chris Brown. He claimed Fruitown Baru. Nigga ain't never had a house in Compton in his life. But that happens. And so Shaq got.
So he's saying that Shaq got involved the same way Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, and Crips got involved. When Shaq was playing basketball in LA, just like Puffy got involved, just like everybody got involved. That's what's going on. Just like Nipsey Hussle, just like Dolph. Just pay attention.
Got up under the main streets. And was cool with him. And he mainly got cool with this dude Stutterbox. I forget how the relationship go. A lot of y'all tell me that I always heard that he was closely related to Minister Farrakhan, like a nephew or something. They say, oh, his sister, he don't have no brothers, and his sister is never had no son. I don't know how he called himself, but I always heard that about Stutterbox. Stutterbox is very respected, or was very respected out here in LA.
So that's what the article says, and that's what Reggie Wright is saying, but the police is saying something different. The article says, and Reggie Wright says, that Shaq was friends with the person his wife was sleeping with. Reggie Wright is saying that Shaq was friends with him because he was a member of the Crips, and Shaq was a friend and up under this whole act. So Shaq was friends with the person his wife was sleeping with. The police don't say that Shaq knew him and had a friendship with him, because the police put a degree of separation between Shaq and the Main Street Crips. Because if they say Shaq was friends with the guy that he sleeping with his wife and claiming to extort him, then that means Shaq was friends with a Main Street Crip and he possibly knew Dale Dog. But the police don't say it that way.
Very. At one time, he used to run my boy Shaq. His name was in the circle. He was very well respected. Main Street Mafia Crips. So it's a very respected neighborhood in LA. Shaq got it up under him somehow.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Look at this check for $160,000.
My bad, y'all.
But what Studybox messed up at is because when you get close to people, you start thinking you probably want more money or own more, deserve more money than what a person is giving you for whatever reasons. That's just how human nature is. That's just what happens. That's what Suge had a lot of his problems with, where guys, as y'all see Mob James tell y'all in every interview, felt like they were cheated on, wasn't done right. Which in my thing, they was given a fucking opportunity and a job. Make the best of it as you can. Do what you can with it. You know, you're in a position where you can get to the man, use that position. Perfect person. Y'all gonna hate that I said it. Wack 100. He didn't get up a job with Suge or anything like that, but he got up under him, had his ear, learned the game. That nigga still feeding his family. Off of just that. That nigga was he'll tell y'all, a truck driver, driving trucks prior to that. The first time he got in the game was from being around me, and then later on being around Suge. He tell y'all in the interview y'all listen to.
He's a police officer. This guy right here, a police officer. So he's saying to you the first time Wack 100 got into the game was being around him. Y'all know the history of Reggie Wright, police officer ass, and then being around Suge. Hella shit, bombs being dropped tonight, y'all.
So I say that to say, Studybox, for some reason, felt he was owed more by Shaquille O'Neal. He took, as I remember, the number was either $300,000 or $400,000. Forget what it was. But he allegedly had a picture. No, not a picture. A tape, videotape. Thanks to him. And nigga, I'm gonna expose your wife if you don't pay me X amount of dollars.
The motive for the crime was retaliation by a celebrity who believed Ross was having an affair with his wife. Captain David Smith of the Sheriff Homicide Bureau wrote, according to a copy of a letter obtained by the Times, the celebrity enlisted the help of 7 Main Street Crip gangster members with extensive criminal histories to commit the kidnap, robbery, and assault. Do y'all hear this? This is what actually happened, and this is what he told police. That Shaquille O'Neal called somebody, and they did this, and the police have this on record, and they condoned it. This is not being made up. This is not conjecture. That they got a letter that the celebrity enlisted the help of 7 Main Street gangster Crips. The celebrity in question is Shaquille O'Neal. Ross is Stuttered, who was sleeping with Shaunie O'Neal.
So Shaq is like devastated. Yes. So now he goes and talk to other guys that's involved in Main Street. And they like, what? That's why he kind of dissed the person talking about you ain't up putting no diapers on my child and all that. He's talking about this big time dude that's no longer with us that had a lot of respect and control over there in Main Street. Because they are the mafia town where, I mean, they have like a hierarchy. Where most of
all of hip-hop cop cases, it's the same task force. Isn't that something? And they knew about Shaq's affiliation, so they know about all the celebrities and the interconnections to these inner city LA gangs and why and how these murders and treachery has played out in the LA streets. Let's listen to Wack or Cass Jones, my bad, his opinion of what happened.
Can you talk about the situation that you have that's ongoing with Stutterbox? I know Greg is working on getting us the either audio or the...
Yeah, I talked to Reggie today.
Yeah.
He said he'd been in talks with Greg. I guess Greg got some of the audio, I guess what Stutterbox was telling.
Right.
It really not an ongoing thing because it's like, I'm kind of like a victim, but I'm not. I survived it. But it just lets me know the route of the streets. Everybody in the streets knew that situation. Everybody in the streets watched that man go to CCB court on 7-8 of his homeboys and line them up and tell. I knew the inner workings of it because we was neighbors. So I knew when the car got shot up, I knew all that, what was going on. I just didn't know he had went to the police. I didn't know that I didn't know he was a working informant for the feds initially. And the feds, I believe, then referred him to LAPD, which was Greg Haynes. I was always a target. I didn't come to know about Greg Haynes till after my door was kicked in, my wife was handcuffed, and they took a bunch of my files down to the Wilshire building, the federal building, right? I guess the initial case, but what I understood was the investigation of the murder of Biggie Smalls, which was being handled on the Fed side. And I think the Feds kind of like joined forces.
Who else is giving you this type of information, man? I just told you that the case, he got picked up for Biggie Smalls. The police officer said he knows somebody that got something to do with the murder and Tupac and Biggie. That's how the task force got involved. So Wack 100 or Cass Jones has a lot of reason to have animosity against Shaunie O'Neal because, like he said, he didn't know shit about shit until they ran into his house and put a gun to his wife's head, all behind Shaunie O'Neal sleeping with this dog motherfucker and them trying to extort Shaquille O'Neal. And then Shaquille O'Neal calling a hit on him and he almost losing his life and him going to the feds and telling on everybody, telling on Shaq, telling on Suge, telling on Wack. He remind me of somebody like in the movie, I'm fuck these niggas.